Hey guys, it's Aubrey
and Tart, and welcome back to our channel.
Today we're making cranberry orange scones with an orange glaze. These are flaky, buttery, and taste like they came from a bakery. Like, look at this. So good.
This recipe is short and simple, so without further ado, let's get started.
The first thing you need to do is preheat your oven to 400 degrees and line a baking sheet with parchment paper. In a large bowl, combine 2½ cups of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of white sugar, 1/4 cup of packed brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Whisk that all together and make sure there are no clumps of the brown sugar. Set that aside because now the next step that we're going to do is what makes these the best scones ever. All you need to do is grate 1/2 cup, which is also 1 stick of frozen butter. Basically, doing this makes it way simpler to add the butter into the flour mixture rather than working in cubes of butter with your fingers. And to us, the butter looks exactly like grated cheese. Okay, so now add the grated butter into the flour mixture. And try not to use your hands too much because the butter does melt pretty quickly. Gently combine the butter with your hands, a pastry cutter, or fork. And doing this only takes about 15 seconds. Once you're done, it should look something like this. And a tip for this is don't overdo it because the butter will melt. Then keep that in the fridge until ready to use later. To make the wet mixture, combine 1/2 cup of heavy cream, 2 large eggs. Adding the eggs make the scones light and tender. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Give that a whisk until it turns a pale yellow color. Now grate in the zest from 1 orange, which is equivalent to 2 teaspoons. And whisk that in. Pour the liquid mixture into the butter and flour mixture, along with a heaping cup of cranberries. Frozen cranberries also work. Stir it all together until you get a rough dough. Empty the dough onto a clean countertop. And with your hands, work it into a disc shape, which should measure to about 8 inches. With a bench scraper or a sharp knife, cut the disc into 8 even wedges. The dough will look pretty rough and not fully mixed, but they'll turn out great when you bake them. Transfer the wedges to a baking sheet, making sure there is space in between each one. And real quickly make a simple egg wash with 1 egg and just 1 teaspoon of water. Using egg wash adds a slight shine and color to the scones. And brush it onto the scones. Try to get the egg wash all over the scone. And sprinkle on some sparkling sugar, which is also known as coarse sugar. Doing this gives a nice crunch to the exterior of the cones and also makes it look really pretty. Now bake in a preheated oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes or until golden brown. While the scones are baking, we're going to make an orange glaze. Whisk together 1 cup of powdered sugar and about 3 teaspoons of orange juice. The scones themselves aren't overly sweet, so adding on the glaze balances it all out. If needed, add more orange juice to get the right consistency. And if it's too thin, just add in a bit of powdered sugar. And once the scones are out of the oven, let them cool for about 5 minutes. And look at how pretty these are, they puffed up perfectly. Transfer them to a cooling rack. And drizzle the glaze over the scones. Store the scones in an airtight container for up to 3 days at room temperature.
And now it's time for the taste test.
And real quickly look at this cross section, with all the nice cranberries. They're so juicy and delicious. So let's taste it. These are so flavorful, from the warm cinnamon to the tart cranberries, and of course the orange, which gives it that pop and flavor.
If you guys love cranberry and orange, you're gonna love these.
We hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and we will see you guys in our next video.
Bye!